So Ms. Pat.
Look at you go. Yes. And he's over here like, you never draw my name. I've been to like 3 workshops, and this lady gets drawn twice in one day.
So Ms. Pat, before you leave,
Yep.
see me so we can schedule you with Kayla. Okay?
Dude, that's me, just so you know. Never. I mean, in my whole life, I think in a scenario like that where it's not like once, maybe in my life, have I won some random raffle prize like that.
I was on a run in the military Christmas party.
See, you ran out all your
I used up all my RTP back then.
right? All right, gang, we ready? Okay, here we go. So, how do we fix it?
All right.
Now we're going to get into the good stuff. All right, now you understand. Hopefully at this point, most of you have been able to at least identify to some degree, hey, I've got this issue, and Doc explained to me exactly how that is connected back to my gut. Okay? Or maybe multiple issues for some of you, unfortunately. Hopefully you're at least starting to understand that. That thing you were hoping to get a solution for, you at least understand exactly how it's happening. Now we're going to walk you through, regardless of where it is or what the symptom is, how do we fix the root cause? So, I mentioned earlier that we teach the 5 essentials. So, for those of you that have been around for a little bit, you know this, right? So, essential 1, chiropractic. Number 2 is nutrition. Chiropractic being more about the nerve system than bones and muscles, like most people think. So, nutrition, mindset, the 6 inches of real estate between your ears, critical to your health and your healing. Oxygen and exercise, and then minimizing toxins. We're going to touch on all of these as we go, and they're all important. You cannot out-supplement a toxic lifestyle. You can't out-eat a bad spine and nerve system. You can't meditate your way out of cellular dysfunction. Okay? All 5 essentials are critical to getting the best results. Wherever you're at, sometimes it just means starting. Right? Just taking the first step in each of these areas. And again, that FAST FSA gives us some data to say, hey, how are you doing? If you fill that out again in 60 days or 90 days or 120 days, it probably still won't be perfect, but will it look better? And then will it highlight the areas where you're still a little weak, and then we can take another step in that direction. That's the objective here, okay? So like I said, before the day is done, you should have very specific actionable items that you're going to do today to start to make those changes, okay? So, nutrition, critical role, not just in the nutrients that we absorb, but it's crucial to feeding our microbiome and keeping that healthy and balanced, okay? So, your gut is literally being attacked by the stuff that we eat every day. Our food system, again, I said this kind of earlier, the food system, just like the medical system, it's not broken. It's doing exactly what it was designed to do. It's built this way. Glyphosate is the active ingredient in Roundup. It's not just sprayed on the field. It's in your Cheerios. Right? It's in your breakfast cereal. It's in your salad. It's oftentimes in your supplements if you don't know where they're coming from, how they're being produced. So glyphosate, it's a liquid that gets sprayed on the crop and it gets absorbed. And we genetically engineer the plants to survive that. That's what the third one is, GMO crops and pesticides. We genetically engineer the plant to withstand the herbicide so that when the herbicide gets sprayed on it, when it gets absorbed into the plant through the root system, it doesn't kill it. But now it's in the plant, and then we harvest some portion of that plant, and we consume that, and we're consuming the glyphosate. It was originally patented as an antibiotic to kill single-celled organisms, to kill microbes. What's in your gut, everybody? The microbes, those good bacteria. And so now what's even worse, so every time you eat something that's got Roundup in it, or glyphosate, it's like a miniature dose of antibiotics, like we talked about earlier. And now with new federal immunity laws, you can't even, like they're building protection for these companies. You can't even sue a company like this, even if it can be proven that their product caused you or a loved one harm. It's not farming, ladies and gentlemen. It's a slow poison. And your gut is the starting point. And so, again, it kills the good bacteria. Here's the crazy thing, is it's demonic, I swear. It kills the good bacteria and allows the bad bacteria to keep on kicking. I mean, it's wild. Like, you wouldn't even think, you're like, surely it would just wipe everything out, right? No. Just certain mechanisms, this is what we're seeing. And so again, this leads to this crazy imbalance of the good and the bad bacteria, like we talked about. So then, we've got these pesticides that activate our immune cells. Your immune system immediately sees that as a foreign invader, and it jumps on it. So those autoimmune conditions don't just show up out of left field. It's this ongoing process. And then we end up with what's called molecular mimicry. So certain proteins in our food actually look a lot like our own body cells. So once the immune system is triggered, that's a portion of how these autoimmune conditions get exacerbated. Is it recognizes this thing as foreign, and then the immune system's really smart. And so, you guys, if you didn't know this, when you come in contact with a bacteria or a virus or something in the wild, okay, your body's really smart. It will analyze a virus specifically. Viruses are very adaptable. They're constantly evolving, okay? The immune system's brilliant. It goes, okay, what's the most likely way that this virus would adapt or evolve to become something a little bit different? It will become a variant. And then it does that some 200 times. How would that virus right there evolve slightly? Kicks out 200 possibilities and prepares for every single one of them. That's how smart your immune system is, by the way. It doesn't need a whole lot of help. Okay? It's a whole nother story for another day. But it does the same thing to these proteins. So it looks at it and it goes, I need to prepare for anything that looks even a little bit like this. What is that going to be? And all of a sudden, some of our tissues start to look a lot like that protein. And now it's attacking. Everybody understand what I'm saying there? And this is where some of that comes from. And so we've tricked our immune system into attacking ourselves. I talked a little bit about this. So they literally change the genes so we can soak this stuff with these herbicides and pesticides, and it doesn't kill it. But that stuff doesn't wash off. Again, it's in the plant, and that gets into our stomach, and now we've got microbiome issues, we've got inflammatory issues, and so on. So the top 5 gut-destroying foods that have got to be eliminated from your diet. Okay? Alcohol, sugar, and artificial sweeteners, gluten like we touched on already, seed oils and bad fats, and then conventional dairy. Real dairy is not bad for you. Conventional dairy is not so great. Everything we consume is a choice. Who's responsible? We are, okay? Alcohol damages your gut lining. It adds to leaky gut. Sugar fuels bad bacteria. There are certain bacteria that thrive on the fermentation of sugar. Not to mention all the other potential negative side effects I could talk about sugar, but we'll be here longer than we need to. So for today's talk, just understand that the bad bacteria are fueled by the sugar. So what is sugar? It's not just sugar. It's high fructose corn syrup. It's refined white flour. It's rice. It's anything that's made from flour, breads, crackers, pastas. Okay? It's granola. Granola is not a health food. It's sugar. It's usually like sugar, like oats, with honey, with sugar, with chocolate chips. But like, who thought these are health foods? Now, if I'm starving and I'm out in the wilderness, all right, some quick fuel might be a good thing, but it's not a health food, okay? So sugar fuels bad bacteria. Gluten, again, contributes to breaking down the gut barrier, but then once it's in is where the real problems come from. Seed oils, all your vegetable oils, canola oil, corn, cottonseed, soybean oil, you name it, right? All these seed oils are pro-inflammatory. they're rancid. The body looks at that as toxic and it responds accordingly. It causes all kinds of damage to the gut lining. So you guys should have in your packet, and some of you have like 12 of these because you've been to so many workshops, but we always give it out for the new ones. I think you got a, use this, not that. Yep. Right behind your notes page. So this has got the good oils and the bad, the good fats, bad fats on it. Raise your hand if you've seen this before. All the repeat offenders that have been to more than one workshop, you got one of these. But for half the room, their hand didn't go up. So now you understand why it's always in there, okay? So this is a really, really easy guide for a handful of different things. But on there, the very first thing is cooking oils. So the good ones are in black there, and then the stuff that's in the red. Now vegetable oil is an all-encompassing. There's a whole lot of stuff. So I'll simplify this for you because this is so critical. If we could reduce the amount of sugar and refined carbohydrates that people consume, we could get to all or nearly all organic, right? Eliminate the glyphosate and the Roundup. And we could get on good oils. Those three basic steps would massively improve the health of our society from a nutritional standpoint. So, I'm going to simplify this. If it's not on the list saying in the black, they're saying use this, what do you think you should do? Don't use it. Got it? So don't email me with, I heard about black African walnut oil. It's really, really good for you. It probably is, okay? But I don't know if you should cook with it. I don't know what its smoke point is. I don't know. So just use the ones I gave you. Deal? Yes, ma'am. The problem with most peanut butters is that they're not organic. And if they are organic, they have a high potential for fungal growth, which is why they spray them so much. Now, do we eat organic peanut butter in my house? Oh, you betcha. Peanut butter is yummy. Okay? But there was a season where, again, I cut out everything that had any potential to cause me a problem. So I was doing things like almond butter or cashew butter, which I still do those sometimes. Okay? So depending on where you're at with some of this, yeah, we have organic peanut butter at the house. Yeah. Good question. Okay. So again, and then there's things on there like the sweeteners. Somebody was asking about sweeteners earlier here, and so on. So there's a few other things on there, so you guys have that. Okay. Conventional dairy. What are cows supposed to eat?
Grass.
Yeah. How much grass do you think they get in America? I'll tell you, most of them get 0. They never eat grass, ever. They live on concrete. Grass doesn't grow on concrete. So they only get fed what gets dumped in front of them. What they mostly get fed is grain and byproducts. Things like brewer's yeast, soybean meal, things like that. And so these cows are raised in a very unhealthy, unnatural environment. This is from a dairy farm kid. I know what I'm talking about on all sides of this conversation, okay? They're raised in a very unhealthy, unnatural environment, and then we extract the milk from that unhealthy animal, and what do we get? We don't get a great product. Then we go a step further. We homogenize it, which means we destroy the good fat. We pasteurize it, which means we destroy the good bacteria and the good protein. And we're left with dirty water. That's what conventional milk is. It's a bunch of stuff that, and then your body looks at the damaged fats. It looks at the damaged proteins. It looks at the dead, killed off bacteria that are just floating around there. So it doesn't extract them, it just burns them. It just, we pasteurize it, we heat it up, it kills it, but it's still there. And then your body has to deal with all that. And there's all the bad stuff and none of the good stuff remains. Does that make sense to everybody? Now, if you got raw milk, organic milk from grass-fed cows, right, that was as close to God's design as possible, raw would be ideal, well, that's fantastic. I grew up drinking raw milk. I'm certain that has a lot to do with why I have such a strong immune system, because there's so many wonderful things there. So you can get things like that, but you have to know where to look. You have to go directly to a farmer to get it, or find a co-op. There's a lot of co-ops in the area where, you know, that one person goes out, buys it all, and then you meet at the parking lot somewhere and you pick up your milk on a given day at a time. So you can look for those sorts of things. Oftentimes, and We actually used to do that in the office, and it got very, very, people are weird.
Messy.
I didn't want my milk this week. I didn't know that. You didn't communicate that with me. You charged my card for the milk again because you put it on auto pay. You know what? I'm done. Not doing the milk co-op anymore. Too many crazy people. These are patients. These are people that I'm like, hey, how are you? It's good to see you. You charged my $5 for the milk. Okay, I'm out. But they exist, and you can go find one. Check your neighborhood groups, your Facebook pages, stuff like that. I encourage you to do that. I just literally found out the other day that there's a lady that's in our neighborhood that has one, and she's like, oh, you want raw milk? I'm like, yeah. She's like, okay, here's the info. So you can get it, okay? You don't have to be perfect, but you've got to be aware of these things, all right? And depending on where you're at, the more strategic, the more intentional you might need to be if we're going to heal this. So I always say this, this isn't a nutrition class. We do that. We do an hour long, just purely all we talk about is nutrition, okay? So who's been to a nutrition 101? Should be a good chunk of you. There's quite a few that probably haven't been yet, okay? We have one coming up. It's about a month from today, isn't it? It's in November? Yeah, so we've got one in a few weeks. Here's what we're going to pass around a clipboard for you to sign up. Even if that date doesn't work and you know you want to attend, sign up and we will find a way to help you get that content, okay? We have a virtual nutrition 101 that we can share potentially, so if that day doesn't work, live is always better. It's always better to attend it with someone, ask questions, engage in the process. But if that date doesn't work, and again, you know you want the info, we can share the virtual one with you, okay? Couple more notes as the nutrition sign-up sheets come around. Trader Joe's, Sprouts, Whole Foods does not mean healthy. You can't just go in there and be like, ta-da, it's all good. It's not, okay? They've got just as much garbage on their shelves as Walmart, Kroger, okay? They just put it in a package that says natural, right? Like,
Organic.
It's organic sugar. It's still sugar. It still feeds the bad bacteria, okay? So there's all kinds of stuff in there. I mean, there's still non-organic stuff. There's GMO stuff. There's meats in there that are conventionally raised. There's conventional dairy. They literally have all the regular stuff and then a lot of other healthier options. But even the healthier options oftentimes aren't great. So what is the thing you gotta understand? What is the most important part of a nutrition label? The ingredients list. 100%. And you've got to watch those ingredients lists, because here's the other frustrating part. I found this brand. It's awesome. It's this like family, and the one was sick, and they got a story, and it's on the package, and their life was changed with nutrition, so they started a company, and it's amazing, and then they sold it to Pepsi, and it sucks. And you bought it for 6 months, or a year, or 5 years, and then they sold it to Pepsi, and then the ingredients list slowly starts changing, and now it's crap. Siete is a great example. Love them. We're watching their labels. I don't think anything's changed too much yet, but I don't know.
I've seen a couple of things.
I've seen a couple of things. So just as an example of how it can be a real slow, I want to show you this so you understand. You've got to read the labels, okay? So this is a before and after label of a particular product, okay? I'm going to read it. You might not be able to read it, especially towards the back, okay? So this is the old one on the left. Almond flour, tapioca flour, water, sea salt, xanthan gum, apple cider vinegar, fermented extract. That includes oregano, flaxseed, and plum. Hashtag contains almonds, okay? That was fine. It's perfectly fine, okay? Company gets bought out. Whatever happens, they start changing the ingredients. And sometimes it happens even the company doesn't get sold. They start growing. You get too big for their britches. Costs too much to keep those clean products in there. They go, we can manufacture this at a much higher rate if we tweak the recipe a little bit, okay? Almond flour, tapioca starch, water, sea salt, xanthan gum, apple cider vinegar, berry extract to preserve freshness, oregano extract to preserve freshness, flaxseed extract to preserve freshness, What's the difference? It's the extract. What about it? Say again. So there's a couple of things. It's good. You guys are doing a great job. So we've got tapioca flour on the left. The whole thing ground into flour. The entire tapioca product. Versus starch. What is starch? Somebody said it. Somebody whispered it. Sugar.
Sugar.
So the whole thing versus just the starch. This is like potatoes. Potatoes are a perfect example, right? Potato. If you slice a potato just in half and look at it, there's this. You'll see this really thin kind of line on the outer edge, right beneath the peel. Like 95%, 98% of the nutrition is in the peel and that outer ring. So when you peel it, unless you can peel literally just the peel and leave the outer ring, you can't. Okay, just so you know, you can't. You're left with the center, which is the majority of the volume, the smallest amount of nutrition, and nothing but starch. So you're just getting all the sugar. That's what happens when we do this. It's funny, my dad was actually really smart about this. I say was, he's still alive. He was really smart about stuff when we were younger. We used to shell corn to feed cows. We would just strip all the corn kernels off, grind it into ground corn, feed it to cows. Why? Because it makes them fat really fast, because it's sugar. And my dad's like, I don't know why we do that. It's so stupid. He's like, cows, you should just feed them the whole stalk, the whole crop, the whole plant. They get everything. They get all the extra fiber and all the extra nutrients, everything that would be there. That would be way better for the cow. And I was like, okay, whatever, Dad. Fast forward 20 years. Anybody ever been there? The old man was right. It wasn't as crazy as I thought. He was honest. I don't think he totally understood it as well as I do today, but he was right. So this is what happens. So that's one. Then we go down here. Now, in the new thing, it talks about the different extracts to preserve freshness. But what we've got here, so those are just extracts. What do we have over here? Fermented extract. The fermentation process is very valuable. Okay, I won't bore you guys, so I won't hang on this any much longer. But you see how these little tiny things start to change. Why isn't it still fermented on the second one? That takes time to ferment something. That costs more money. It's better for us when we consume it, but you can just use the extract and still accomplish a similar goal without getting the full, the best benefit for us as the consumers. That makes sense to everybody? So just a couple of things there.
What is it?
I believe this was from, a friend shared this with me. I think this was from one of those Annie's. Are you familiar with Annie's, the brand? They do like little bunny cookies and mac and cheese and things like that. I think it's from one of those labels.
Might be the Siete brand.
It looks
Siete.
like
Or it could be a Siete brand. Is it?
Tortillas.
Or maybe it is the flour tortillas. That could be where it
Almond
is.
tortillas
Yeah.
or whatever.
So it's oh, it is Siete. It's right here on my note. Read it. I didn't really care what it was. I was just trying to prove a point. It's right here. I have a minute. It is. It's the it's from Siete. So it was PepsiCo bought out Siete a while back. So so does that make sense, everybody? So you got to really pay attention to this stuff. What's that?
Most people don't know when big companies buy small brands out.
Well, right, and so that's part of why one of the easy things you could do is check your ingredients and know what's there. I mean, obviously you're not going to memorize every list, but you're gonna. Oftentimes it'll jump out at you. It really will if you're consistently checking those labels, and you have to consistently check. I got you. You have to consistently check because otherwise, you just assume it's still good. You buy it and then it's not. Yeah, right here.
It's kind of random, but I have this app. This other guy on YouTube does a scan time.
He doesn't know what he's talking about. Only listen to me.
Anyways, there's this app that he made that's totally free. It's called Bobby Approved.
Yeah, that's a good one.
And you can scan.
There's a couple of apps. There's actually one I dug deeper. So if I recommended this to you in the past, delete it. It's called the Yuka app. YUKO, I think, or YUKA, one or the other. It's not good. They present it as doing this sort of thing, like, oh, we're going to tell you if it's good or bad or whatever. And then I actually dug a little bit deeper, and someone had recommended it. And I was like, oh, cool. I kind of looked at it briefly. I was like, oh, okay, looks good. So I kind of made the recommendation a while back. That was one of those apps you can use, like scan the barcodes in your store. No, they're totally sideways. They recommend bad fats. They don't recommend good fats. So it's totally screwed up. So you got to make sure you do your research.
No, it's okay. They got a picture of a carrot on it.
Yeah, exactly. It's totally fine, right? Exactly. I looked at the front of the label and it said all natural. Right?
So what's a good one then?
There's what's it called again? Bobby approved. And the other one I like is Environmental Working Group, EWG. And there's two for EWG. They have two different apps. One is for food, and they have one, if you go to their websites, it's ewg.org. ewg.org/skin deep is personal care products.
There's
That's
also
what my
a
wife uses.
Yeah.
there's also a seed oil scout, and that one,
Okay.
Kayla showed it to me. If you search like if you want to go eat at a restaurant, you can search the name of it, and it'll tell
Oh,
you
yeah.
what oils they use, and it'll tell you like be careful with what you choose here, avoid this place completely, or you're safe to eat there.
Gotcha. What was it called again?
Seed oil scout.
Seed Oil Scout. So she's talking about an app that will rate the nutrition of restaurants. So it's, again, when you go out to eat for the seed oil specifically. So when you go out to eat, it can be challenging, right? Your friends are like, let's go get something to eat. Okay, right, you're on vacation, you're out of town, whatever. This is a perfect example of like using an app. Ask some questions. Like when you get there, like how do you prepare this or that? Do you use this? Where does the product come from? Right? Is it potentially like, oh hey, we've got some grass-fed meats on the menu, but we've got some other meats as well, and that item looks really good, but that's conventionally produced versus the other item over here that was maybe my second or third choice, but it's grass-fed meat, so I'm going to choose that. Does that make sense? So sometimes we're the annoying people in the restaurant because I'm just not willing to get sick. You know? Again, it's not that you have to be perfect, but by simply asking, you can make a little bit better choice. It's not going to be, it still might not be perfect, but it will be better than just going off the rails. Okay? So, some stuff we've kind of talked about here, just highlighting and recapping. Eating organic, avoid the dirty dozen. So that's on this list as well at the bottom. Clean 15, dirty dozen. The dirty dozen, if you're going to eat, it's not that you have to avoid it, but you have to buy it organic because it's heavily sprayed with pesticides. Okay? Choose organic wherever you can. Gut healing foods like bone broth protein, so the protein that we gave out, right? Those are great at helping to heal the gut lining. Bone broth is great for healing a gut lining. Bone broth protein, plus our bone broth proteins are like the tastiest proteins I've ever freaking had. I've had a lot of protein shakes over the years, and there's a lot of them that you just choke them down. Those bone broth proteins are awesome. So they're very, very good. Fermented foods like we were talking about. Things like kefir and kimchi and kombucha. These are all really good things, and you can get all kinds of fermented foods. But again, you've got to know what you're looking for. What was that? Sauerkraut. A great example. Exactly. And then you can help support your liver with certain nutrients like glutathione and zinc, clean water, good hydration. These are all good things that you can do. Okay. Instead of this is a special note because this isn't on our list because this is making a comeback. You used to not be able to find this in the store very easily. Now it's all over the place. Beef tallow instead of seed oils. Beef tallow is awesome. This is what people have used for centuries around the world. Is good, clean animal fat. They are you can cook with them. You can use them for skincare. All kinds of stuff. My wife has got a tallow product that we use she uses for her instead of lotion, right? So lotions, again, personal care products are full of all kinds of chemicals and perfumes and all these things that are toxic. So beef tallow it's very stable, it's anti-inflammatory, and it's full of fat-soluble vitamins. So when you consume that from a well-raised animal, you're not just getting fat, you're getting all the nutrients that comes with it. It's not that fat is bad, it's bad fats and fake fats that are the real problem. So we got to get back to what we were doing years and years ago. And then a special note here on fasting. Fasting is really, really good. You're not starving yourself. A lot of people think, well, if I fast, I'm just eating less. You might eat a similar amount of food, but in a small window. And what that does is it gives your gut a break. Never before in human history, again, have we been so easily fed all day long. Because we've got so many stabilized foods and snacks. We've got refrigeration. We sit at a computer all day long working, where it's easy to have a snack and then keep working and have a snack and keep working. I can tell you, when you're baling hay and milking cows, you don't have time to eat. Your hands are busy, right? That's how I grew up. When you're a mechanic, when you're working construction, when you're a plumber, an electrician, when you've got these physical jobs where you're up and active, when you're a hairdresser, when you're a dog groomer, like all of these things where you're busy and you're occupied and you can't feed yourself all day. But so much of society sits here, right? And so we can just eat and eat and eat. I'm guilty of it. I've been guilty of it here in the office when we're slower or whatever because we see patients in these windows. All of a sudden I've got, I'm still working, but a lot of my work is sit down at the computer, doc, build the PowerPoint, do the research, create your notes, prepare for the talk so you can do a good job, so you can serve your patients. It's really easy to have a snack sitting there while I'm doing that if I'm not careful. Okay? So fasting gives your gut a break because when it's not digesting, it can heal and repair. When it's working and digesting, it can't heal and repair. This is why, like for you, when do you do all of your healing and repairing in general? When you sleep, right? When you're resting, not when you're doing other activities. So your gut is the same way. So if you're eating late at night, it can overwhelm your digestion. It can spike the inflammatory response. So ideally, you give your break somewhere between 12 to 16 hours of rest, which leaves you another, 8 hours a day to eat. Now, a lot of people will skip what meal? Breakfast. If you really want to capitalize on fasting, skip dinner. Eat early in the morning. Start your day with quality protein. That's why I love a smoothie in the morning. For myself, for my kids. Starting the day with good, clean protein fuels your body, gives you the building blocks you need, all the essential amino acids. You can easily add in good fats with things like nut butter or a scoop of coconut oil or something like that in the smoothie with it. If you've never done that, it might sound a little, you just put all that stuff in the blender, you mix it up, it's really easy, okay? But you get lots of good fats, good protein, and you're fueling your body to start the day. And then you eat until, noon or 2 or 4 in the afternoon, and then you're not eating in that evening time. So then you're fasting through the evening. Your gut's good and empty. It's already resting and healing and repairing as you go to sleep at night. God bless you. So that it can heal and repair to the fullest capacity through the night until you wake up in the morning, and then you have what? Break fast. That's why we call it that. Right? So so people are like, oh, fasting, what about fasting? Do I fast or not? We're all already fasting to some degree because you don't eat while you're sleeping. Okay? It's a natural thing for us to go periods of time without food. Again, go back to a different point in history where we didn't have so much access to so much food. Refrigeration, shipping food from around the world. Like, you can get a banana 365 days a year in Texas. Never before in human history has that been available to us, except maybe the last, 50 to 100 years, okay? Our bodies aren't wired for that. So fasting is actually an incredible tool. And you can start simple. You're like, oh my gosh, this sounds crazy. You could get to where you're eating like one good solid meal. You're eating in a 1 or 2 hour window every single day. You could get that good with it. You could actually go several days where you do a water fast. Great thing to do periodically. Very anti-inflammatory, detoxifying, allows your gut a complete reset. You're just drinking water. I would even allow you on a pure fast like that, a little bit of, because I know some of you are like, really, just what? You can have low black coffee if you wanted. Clean, organic, no sugar, no cream. Okay? Just a little something. Just a little treat for your day. Okay? So again, start small. Commit to not eating after, 6 or 7 o'clock in the evening, if that's where you need to start, all right? expand that fasting time slowly, okay, until you get into a bigger time. Your body will clean house while you sleep, all right? Questions on that? I'll give you guys a second on that one. This is great for helping your gut. Doing a fast, let me give you another caveat here. We got plenty of time, we're good. Even a juice fast. Now, if you're doing a juice fast, green juice. Not a bunch of fruit juice. Why does everybody choose fruit juice? Because it tastes good. It's full of sugar. There's sugar water. You get all the fiber and all that stuff out of the way, and you just get the sugar water, okay? Green juice. If you're like, gosh, a real full-blown fast, green juices can be a good stepping stone towards a full-on fast. Bone broth, like real bone broth, not even the bone broth protein. Bone broth protein, but that's actually harder to say than I thought. Just real bone broth. So you can go to the store, you can get grass-fed bone broth. It's already made, it's frozen, whatever, and you just warm it up. That can be a good thing. Like when every year, every January, I do a 3-day fast, at least once a year. Okay. Now, me getting up, working out, taking care of 4 crazy kids, taking care of this place, taking care of all of you, dealing with Nikki. Okay. Just kidding. Nikki's got to deal with me, let's be honest. Okay? That's a lot of energy output though. I'm up at 5 o'clock. I'm wrestling kids into bed at 8:39. God forbid I get 5 minutes to sit and talk to my wife, and then I got to get to bed, and I got to get up and do it again tomorrow. So it can be really challenging to consume 0. So the last year, I did, the last few years, I've done, first time that I've done full on like 3 days of fasting with no real food whatsoever. I did allow myself a little bit of bone broth warmed up for lunch, during lunchtime. And that was just a little bit of, there's a little bit of collagen in there, there's a little bit of stuff, but it's already broken down. It's super easy to absorb, so my digestive system doesn't have to do anything. So I still get that break and that rest. And again, the bone broth is great for helping to heal the gut anyway. So when there's nothing else coming in, and the gut is resting, and you give it a little bit of bone broth like that, it's fantastic. Now again, if you're not ready for that, start with some the bone broth protein smoothie is a great stepping stone. Maybe a little green juice along the way, so you can give your body a break. You can do a liquid fast. So you're consuming some liquid nutrients, not water only, which is a true fast, right? But still giving your digestive system a huge break, because it doesn't have to break anything down.
Do you still work out when you do the 3 days?
You can, you gotta be careful on that. Now this is, I've been working out and playing ball since I was little, all the way through college. I played ball, I've always worked out, very active. So I can do that if I'm doing it for a short time. If I was doing a longer fast, like 5 or 6 days or something like that, I probably would really rein back the workout routine.
Okay.
So yeah, depending on where you're at there and how hard you're working out. So it might be, hey, I usually work out pretty hard. I don't want to do nothing for 3 or 5 days. So maybe instead of doing wind sprints and burpees, I might go for a walk or a light jog. I might do some stretching, some light weightlifting, something like that. Something where I'm gonna preserve a little bit of energy, but still move my body.
Okay.
Ding. Okay, so, slight recap here. We've talked about all the symptoms, all right? Again, we've seen all the things. We've talked through some of the nutritional components, okay? Now, if we really, really want to dig in, right? Healing something like this, you guys can see this is a very chronic problem that most people have. This was created over time, and if your symptoms have been there for a longer period of time, this healing process can be a little bit longer, okay? But our 4R protocol, where does this come from? I'm gonna lay this out for you guys. The 4 R's. This comes from literally thousands of patients that we've tested, not just here in our office, but across our Max Living network. We've got hundreds of clinics testing hundreds and hundreds of patients every year. And when those labs come back, I mentioned how we have to run tests to find SIBO, okay? It's the only way to confirm if you have that. But when these tests come back, one of the primary things we see for so many of our chronically ill patients are these underlying gut issues are confirmed on those tests. We see on the test that you've got bacterial imbalance. We see that there's inflammation. We see that there's leaky gut. We see that the immune system's out of balance, and it's all coming from these gut issues. And so we've got a very strategic protocol to tackle each of these things along the way. I'm going to walk you through that and explain exactly what that is. But if you want to heal all these things, this is not optional. It's got to be done or it never gets better. It's not like, well, I'll change my diet a little bit. You have to do that, but in and of itself, it won't create the healing necessary to undo a chronic problem. Does that make sense? So, laying this out for you guys step by step here, okay? So, the 4-hour protocol. This is not a theory. This has been tested and researched. This is an action plan that you can easily implement right away, okay? It's a 2-month protocol, okay, which is nice because it actually allows for some wiggle room in some areas, and I'll explain that. All of our products, so it's these 5 products, research, backed, studied, etc., all come from ingredients that are produced on our regenerative farms. Can you help? What is a regenerative farm? What does that mean? Where does that come from? Okay? Regenerative farms. It means caring for the soil by adding back quality organic matter so that the soil increases in its nutrient density day by day, year by year. We can actually see topsoil on a regenerative farm. You can measure over a longer period of time. You can measure the topsoil thickening over time because we're adding in good organic matter. There was a cool thing I read a while back, and it was talking about how in the Midwest, when we were first exploring into the Midwest, there was 15 feet of topsoil. Meaning that good black dirt that grows the best crops in the world, 15 feet deep before you start to hit any sort of clay or anything like that. Think about that. Like here in Texas, we're lucky if we got 6 inches of anything worth a darn for topsoil, okay? So this regenerative farming creates this really good nutrient-dense soil that we can grow in versus conventional farming where we're spraying with herbicides and pesticides and we're tilling it up over and over again. We're actually depleting the nutrients over time. That's critical because we can't grow as good quality nutrient-dense stuff if we're depleting the soil over time. Does that make sense? This is critical. This is one of the things that makes the products we recommend to our patients better than the stuff you can get most other places, okay? And then the other piece of this, the reason I love our products is all of the things when we're talking about some of these specific nutrients that are in here, they're at the clinically relevant dosages. What does that mean? It means you look at a product on the market and they're like, oh, it's got, ashwagandha in it because ashwagandha has been proven to do X, Y, and Z. Yes, you go check that research and what they say in the research. Well, in the research, the people who saw results got X amount of ashwagandha and then we saw X result. And then you look at your product and you've got 1/10 that amount of ashwagandha in it. So guess what you're not getting? Results, okay? So we can put nutrients in there, but if it's not the right dosage to actually trigger the appropriate response in the body, we're not getting anywhere. Does that make sense? Everything that we recommend has research-backed clinical dosages. So you don't have to guess, you don't have to cross your fingers and hope. We know you're getting exactly what you need. So, step 1, we're going to remove all the bad stuff. That's month 1, and I'm going to explain that. And then step 2, we're going to heal and repair. So how does that work? So step 1, GI remove. This is how it all starts. Number 1, you've got to remove on your own the sugars, the processed foods, the toxic crap that's in your lifestyle as much as you can. Okay, we'll talk a little bit about that before we wrap up, a little bit more on the toxins. And then we're going to remove all the bad bacteria and the yeast and things like that that get into our system. So there are organic botanical blends of oregano. It's funny because it's an African black walnut oil. There's black walnut in it. It's actually a thing. It's really good. Oregano, black walnut, thyme, clove, and artemisinin, which are botanicals that gently remove the harmful microbes. So this is how we get rid of the bad bacteria that's gotten into your gut. And that creates part of that dysbiosis, that microbiome imbalance. We've got to kill off the bad stuff and get it out of the system. And then there's another combination that includes the oregano and the clove, but also berberine that helps eliminate unwanted toxins. All the while, we're literally threading the needle of not killing off any of the good bacteria or as little as possible along the way. And so there's a very specific formulation to make sure that we can actually preserve the good bacteria in our gut. Does that make sense to everybody? Again, threading the needle is the perfect phrase for that. And then again, because it's all regenerative, we've got really good, clean, potent stuff. And then number 2, again, these are the 2 products you'll take in month 1. Don't worry, we'll have a printout for you for this. Microbiome support. So this is 10 billion CFUs of a specific strain of bacteria, Saccharomyces boulardii. It's a tropical non-pathogenic yeast, which helps preserve beneficial gut bacteria. And it has the ability, the reason this particular strain is because it has the ability to withstand the stomach acid and the botanicals that we're including this month to get to where it needs to go and be in the large intestine where it's supposed to be. Does that make sense, everybody? So there's a specific strain that has that ability to get there. So we're supporting that microbiome as best as we can through this clear out phase, okay? Where we're getting all the junk out of the system. That's step 1. Then we move into month 2. Month 2, this is where we take our GI replace. And so once we get the stuff out from where it doesn't belong, now we've got to add good stuff back in. Most people, again, because they've damaged their gut, they're low in stomach acid, digestive enzymes, bioflow, bioproduction isn't great. And all of that is critical for making sure that we break down our food properly, okay? So the replace helps reestablish those critical pieces. There's enzymes in it. There's HCl, hydrochloric acid, which is the active ingredient in your stomach acid. So you're actually breaking your food down with enzymes and good acid production. And then it also helps produce or encourage good bioproduction and bioflow, which is necessary for the breakdown and transportation of good fats, which you're going to be consuming lots of, right? Okay? So now we're actually starting to restore the things that are necessary to break down our food properly. So we're getting rid of the bad stuff, and now we're starting to restore proper digestion. This one here, GI repair. This thing in and of itself is an amazing product. This by itself specifically focuses on healing that gut lining, okay? It corrects the leaky gut that we've talked a lot about today. There's specific nutrients like glutamine, collagen, zinc, aloe, again, all helping to rebuild that gut lining. We're not trying to just do a Band-Aid. It's not like, oh, I'll just take this GI repair once a day for the rest of my life, right, to help minimize my digestive distress or issues there. No, we want to rebuild the gut wall completely so that it's not an issue going forward, okay? Does that make sense? And then the last step is the replenish. So this is the probiotic, but it's a specific spore-based probiotic. Why spore-based? Because it has to get to the right place in the gut. Again, it's got to make its way through the stomach acid and get into that large intestine. So the spore allows it to get to where it needs to go before it opens up. Okay? And again, very specific numbers, very specific strains. I won't bore you with all that. None of you really care. You don't need a microbiology degree. But we're making sure that we get a good, strong, diverse, resilient microbiome because of all of those things. Remember, the microbiome is helping to create all those hormones and neurotransmitters and everything else that we started off the day talking about. That makes sense, everybody? So we've got to make sure we get those pieces back in place at the appropriate numbers to make sure that our body's doing what it's supposed to do again, okay? So that's your protocol. So we've got a couple of different things here. What we want to do is we want this to be functional, we want this to be actionable, and we want this to be doable for as many of you as possible today, all right? So we've got sort of 3 different options here. So option number one, okay, you're going to get the entire bundle, like I just said, all 5 products over the course of the 2-month span here. You're going to get a printout. This is exactly what you take, when you take it, how much you take it in month 1. It's exactly what you take, when you take it, and how much you take in month 2 to get you through this 60-day protocol, okay? In the meantime, you're eating right? You're making some of these additional good changes, okay? It's a stepwise process. But we're also, you guys filled out the FAST FSA. Did everybody get to do it at some point? Okay, good. Everybody just about got it? Okay, good. We get that. We get to see it as well. But if you buy the bundle, what we're going to do is we're going to send you the full FSA. which gives us much more information, okay, for us to look at. For myself and for Kayla. Who's worked with Kayla before? Several hands are gone. Awesome, okay? For me and Kayla to review, to get deeper into what else is going on, lifestyle habits, other symptomatology, so we can look at other areas that we need to help you and coach you on. The FSA alone is worth $50. Just filling that out and getting that data would be worth that, okay? But once we have that, we're also going to give you an opportunity to sit down with Kayla one-on-one for a coaching session to review your FSA, your fast FSA, your symptoms, what's going on, how are you doing, because you're not going to be meeting with Kayla tomorrow, right? You're going to be meeting with her over the course of the next couple of months. So how's it going in your healing process? Are you making progress? What have you seen? What have you not seen? For some of you sitting here, this is step 1. Step 2 will be another round of gut healing protocol, because you've got a 50-year-old problem and it ain't going to get undone in 60 days, and that's okay. That's not uncommon for some people to have to go through this multiple rounds to get this healing completed, but it's totally worth it. So you're going to get a one-on-one with Kayla, which Kayla, for those of you, some of you guys have met, some of you guys haven't. I've been in practice 11 and a half years. Kayla's been with me 30 days shy of that. 30 days in, I hired Kayla. Before Kayla worked with me, Kayla was a nurse. She worked in the nursing field for several years, so she has a huge medical background and knowledge and understanding there, okay? She also was a patient in the medical system that failed her miserably. She had multiple autoimmune conditions. She was 80 pounds heavier than she was the day she found out she was pregnant with her first child. So she lost 80 pounds from the time I met her to the time she found out she was pregnant. Reversed multiple autoimmune conditions, got off of multiple medications she told she was going to need forever. She's got a boatload of life experience there. And then she's been on our team for 11 and a half years. She's sat through 50 of these seminars. She's gone to additional seminars from whoever the guy that Kara is that watches online. She's not listening to me. She's reading her notes. It's easy. She's gone to all these other trainings. She's educated herself. She's studied. She's got additional certifications outside of what I've taught her and what we've learned together. She's an amazing resource. There are people who have less knowledge than Kayla that charge hundreds and hundreds of dollars to meet with them. You'll hear a story about that in a minute, okay? So you're going to get to meet with Kayla so she can coach you one-on-one, customized recommendations, lifestyle changes, etc. And then if there's additional needs, do we need to meet again? Do we need to run some testing like we talked about? She'll talk you through those potential possibilities down the road. So we're going to throw all of that in, okay? So just to give you the picture here, the supplements alone normally cost $355. The FSA is easily worth $50. Meeting with Kayla for 30 minutes to an hour, easily valued at $100. Today, all of that, $299. So you're going to save $206 and go, I'm ready to heal my gut once and for all, right? This is a protocol that has been proven to work over and over and over again, okay? Now, option 2. I know some people are like, sounds great, I'm all in, I gotta do it. I ain't got an extra $300 in my budget right this minute. I get that, okay? So very simple. Option 2, everything I just told you, you just split it in half. Pay half now, pay half next month. Okay, and you get all the products as you go. You'll still get the FSA. You'll still get to meet with Kayla. So again, you're going to save almost the same amount, $187 worth of savings. Split it in half, nice and easy. Fair enough? Make it a little easier for some of you, okay? And again, I still understand that things can be tough. Things can be challenging. Where do I start? I'm not even 100% sure I'm all in yet, okay? So for those of you that are maybe dipping your toe, or again, budget restrictions might make this hard, easy way to start, we're going to start with just working on the gut lining. So you're going to get the GI repair. You're still going to get a one-on-one with Kayla. She's going to sit down with you, review your FSA, or your fast FSA. She's going to, again, give you some customized recommendations, some guidance. What do you need to focus on? Where do you need to work? And then she'll coach you from there on. She'll have, you have the opportunity to meet with her more often, to follow up with her, to not follow up with her, whatever that looks like. We've seen all the scenarios over the years. We've had people come in, they start working, they start seeing results, and then it's like, but I'm plateauing, now what? And then we figure out where we navigate from there. Does that make sense to everybody? So that's an amazing resource, okay? So we've got 3 different options there. You guys all have on the back of that product order form that you saw, some of you have been looking at it. If you flip that over, those are the 3 bundle options, okay? Now, some of you are literally right in the middle of working on something with Kayla. If that's you, don't do this today, okay? Because you're in the middle of something. You're already getting coached, she's already got lab results, she's got other things she's working on, and we don't want to throw something new into the mix of that. Talk with Kayla about that if you think this is where you need to go next, but for a lot of you, you're probably already working on these things, okay? If you're not, though, for everybody else that's not already working with Kayla, the reality is pretty much everybody should probably fall into one of these 3 categories. We talked about at the beginning. You have to take some action today, right? If you go, well, I'm going to go home and throw out the vegetable oil. Fantastic. That's not going to heal your gut problem, all right? I want you to do that, and then, right, we've got to do the additional things. So we tried to make it where there's somewhere for everybody to start, and we want to give you as much help and support as we possibly can in that, okay? And so you can figure out which one that is. Just check the box. Figure it out while we wrap up the last part of the talk here. Know where you're going, and then when you go up front, you'll get your products checked out on the way out. We've got, I think, 10 or 12 complete bundles in stock, so we may not, 12, I think you just yelled. So we may not have enough for everybody. That's okay. If we don't, it'll be here in less than a week or 2. 2 at the most, all right? We order products every week or 2. So if you order, if you're at the number 13 in line, you order, and when you're out, as soon as we get it, we'll guide you through it, we'll get you started, okay? But you're gonna get the bundle, you're gonna get your product guide on what to take and when to take it. We're gonna send you the link to do the full FSA, and then you're gonna get to meet with Kayla one-on-one, get some coaching and guidance from there, okay? So, make sense to everybody? Now, I can sit up here and rant and rave all day about how amazing it is, but you guys will take it a lot better if one of you tells you all about it. So, everybody say hi to Amanda.
Hi, Amanda.
Amanda's back from the beginning. So, Amanda, you came in, 6 years ago, right?
Yep.
We met you at the craft show at the high school down the road.
Yep.
With your moms. We knew your mom because she used to work at the store by my old office. And so she walks up and we start talking, and you start talking to Dr. Eric, who used to be on her team. And what was going on with you in that moment that made you kind of engage with Dr. Eric in that conversation, and what was happening?
So at that time, it was solely back pain all through high school. I was having really bad back pain. So I had steroid injections, epidural injections. They wanted to cauterize my nerve endings, which that was when I was like, no, I'm out on that.
Yep. And you were how old at the time? It was 6 years ago. When we met you.
When we met, 21.
Yeah, and she'd already been through steroids, and they want to do a rhizotomy as the term for cauterizing those nerves and all these things, right? And so, very typical, oh, you're a chiropractor? I've got XYZ. I even remember, I still remember it your mom hadn't come to see us yet. You actually talked her into it. She just knew me because I was always at the store buying snacks, because we used to be right next to Natural Grocers before they closed. So they did have some healthy snacks. So I was always in there buying a kombucha or a healthy snack. And I got to know your mom a little bit. And she was like, well, you should do it. You got this back. I'm not doing it. But you should do it, right? And so came into the office, right? And then kind of just walked in. What did that look like? And it kind of hit a tipping point here in the last year. So just, I'll let you share what that looked like for everybody.
So I was kind of I was doing all the things. I was coming in for my adjustments. I was coming in 3 times a week, keeping up with all of that. Started meeting with Kayla, was doing the supplements, but I wasn't changing everything. I was eating better. I was eating organic, but it was organic sugars. It was the tapioca starch that was up there. And I've had digestive issues since I was a baby. My mom tells me that from the day I was born, I've always had stomach problems. Well, I, over the last 5 years, had a history of UTIs. So every time I had a UTI pop up, call my doctor, get some antibiotics. Take the antibiotics, causes more problems, more gut problems. Well, last year in November was when I reached my breaking point. I woke up one day, had a terrible, what I thought was a UTI, went to the ER. They said, yep, you have a UTI, sent me on my way with antibiotics. Come to find out, my results didn't show UTI. They gave me antibiotics because I said I thought I had a UTI. So $1,500 hospital bill there. Then I go and see another doctor for him to tell me it wasn't a UTI, it might be kidney stones. So I go see another doctor and they say it's kidney stones, here's 10 days of antibiotics. So then another course of antibiotics.
Which kidney stones aren't a bacterial infection. It's like you see the craziness here, just an absolute chaos.
And then, so kept going, was like, okay, just gonna wait for these kidney stones to pass. Then in February, so almost 4 months later, I go and see a urologist. Hey, my kidney stones haven't passed. $3,000 later, you don't have any kidney stones. Never did nothing wrong with your urinary tract. Probably in your gut. 3 weeks later, Kayla gets back from maternity leave. I fill her in on everything. She says, okay, let's run all of these tests. So we do all the tests, the thyroid, the gut, the everything under the sun. Comes back, it's all in my gut. Changed my diet, changed the way I eat, cut out alcohol, cut out all sugars, gluten, everything. Everything is whole foods, organic, everything. And I, as of today, 5.5 months, I'm down 33 pounds. I sleep better.
Sweet.
I have energy. I can actually spend time with my mom without needing to take a nap. I can go out with my friends and not be like, I have to be in bed by 6 p.m. I don't take 3 naps a day like I used to. And one of the big things is I don't have the back pain like I used to. So what we thought was all like a structural was actually just related to my gut.
It's referred pain, which is why we look at everything. You have to look at the body as a whole.
I was diagnosed with ADHD. Don't think I have it anymore. It's
Gut
been 6 months.
dysfunction led to brain dysfunction.
Yep.
Where have we heard that before?
Yep. So it's just, it's one of those things, like he said, like you can hear about it, but once you actually do it, and I think my friends and my family are kind of tired of me talking about it because I talk about it every time I see them. I'm like, guess what?
Yeah.
But it's game changer.
And so yes, like you met with Kayla, ran some tests, got some specific feedback, went through a specific protocol, build your gut, and ta-da. Now, you can have a seat. Thanks, guys. Clap for her. Her and I talked a little bit before, and yes, there can be referred pain, which is crazy, where you've got a visceral dysfunction that then it's presenting as back pain as one of the symptoms, spinal pain as one of the symptoms. Why? Because the nerves go there, right? Now, her and I talked a little bit this morning, and she understood this when we were chatting before the event started, of having cleared her nerve system as a chiropractic patient prior, set her up for great success, that her body was healing, it responded really well to everything there. So it's pulling all of that together. And that's one of the critical things I tell people, is like, you can't just, I said earlier, you can't just take some supplements and keep eating garbage. You can't not sleep and expect to heal. You can't have a damaged nerve system and expect the best results. You can't not exercise and expect to cut out some bad foods and lose weight. You know, you have to take this full approach to health and healing. Otherwise, you're sort of, shooting BBs at a freight train. It's just not enough to get the thing to start to change directions. Does that make sense to everybody? And so that's what we really want for you, okay? And so it's a perfect testimony of been a patient here for a little bit, was getting adjusted, was making some changes, but hadn't fully committed to going all in, all right? And so that's the option that you have right now, is to go all in on this thing and really make these changes. So a few more things I want to go over real quick before we wrap up. This is a process, okay? This is your Thanksgiving turkey coming up there. You can try and cook it in an hour, right, and burn it, or you can cook it at 3 hours, right? It's a slow, stepwise process. Somebody is going to go, I'm all in, and you're going to buy the supplements, and next week you're going to come in and go, I feel terrible, this isn't working. Yes, it is. It's a process, all right? You're undoing a long time damage. There's no shortcuts, okay? We talked about this a little bit at the very beginning. I said this 6 inches of real estate right here is critical. You have to be looking at this really through the lens of what we just talked about. This is going to be a process. This is going to take time. There's going to be some ups and downs. You're going to stumble. You might trip and fall flat on your face at some point where you eat something or drink something or do something or screw up on taking your supplements appropriately. That's okay. You're not expected to be perfect. That's one. Okay? You're not expected to be perfect. That's okay. Small steps. 1 foot in front of the other. When you trip and fall, you get up and you take another step. Okay? And if you do that consistently enough, we will get there. I have helped enough patients get there. Okay? Our team will help you get there. Number 2, again, at the end of the day, it's whose responsibility? It's our own, right? We had a patient, I was telling somebody about this, forget who it was, but there's another patient. I said, we literally had a patient quit care in our office a month or so ago. Came in, met with Kayla originally. Kayla starts working with them, says, you really need to work on your nerve system. So they start getting adjusted, did a few other things, went back, followed up with Kayla some more. And after, 6 months or so, basically looked at Kayla and said, I don't know if this is, I'm not used to this. And she said, what do you mean? She goes, well, I usually go to the doctor and they just sort of do whatever needs to be done, i.e. write my fat, lazy butt a prescription, and I take that and I feel a little better. And y'all want me to change all my diet, do my rehab, doesn't exercise, and now I said fat, lazy butt. I mean I have no animosity towards this man. My heart hurts for him though, because he couldn't take responsibility for himself. And if he walks through that door tomorrow, I'll give him a big hug and I'll love on him and I'll serve him to the best of my ability. But until he says, it's my body and it's my choices and I'm going to do it, I'm going to fix it, he's never going to get better. Does that make sense to everybody? And those are the 2 most critical pieces. 1, take responsibility. 2, give yourself some grace. Because it's a process, okay? Like I said, exercise. This is what's really cool. Moving your body has been proven. Again, we're talking specifically about digestive health. As you exercise, we see increased motility in your gut. Things move better because your body's moving. I used to work out with this guy, he's a good friend of mine. 20 minutes into our workout, guaranteed. He's like, I gotta go. It was his clock every time, right? And so, but we see that, okay? We know that. Again, when you put all of it, it's not, I don't exercise to be lean or have strong muscle. It's all of it. Exercise triggers dopamine, back to brain health, okay? So when we get better gut motility because we're exercising and that triggers dopamine response and that helps with our brain health. And then we've got a better outlook. That dopamine response is a positive reinforcement. So what do I want to do again tomorrow? I want to get another dopamine hit. So maybe I get up and I exercise again. You guys see, one good habit begets another good habit begets another good habit. And we start stacking all these things together and we get the best results. Exercise improves insulin sensitivity. It lowers inflammation. It balances and reduces cortisol, which is our stress hormone. So we get the dopamine hit and we get cortisol decreasing. Ta-da! It's been proven to be better than antidepressants for depression. Just getting up and moving your body. And what's really cool is we do it here in the office. You're like, I don't even know where to start with my exercise. Like, I'm scared. I'm not sure. What do I do? I've got an injury. Ta-da! Every Monday here at the office, Dr. Lou leads what we call a Max T3 class. The 3 T's are time, type, and tempo. We vary those a little bit to get you to target different aspects of your fitness, but it's free. You come here. You have a doctor who you can go, I've got a thing, I can't do that particular move. Great. Let your chiropractor walk you through what you can or cannot do so that you don't hurt yourself and you can start moving anyway. Raise your hand if you've been to more than one doctor in your lifetime. You might even be under the care of more than one doctor today. How many of them are hosting free workout classes for you? All right? I had a patient say this to me. I was hoping she was going to be here. I was going to have her share a story as well. But she wasn't able to be here because she's got a flu or something the last couple of days. So she said she was going to stay home. A few months ago, she was very similar story. You know, I've just been this, that, the other. I've been taking care of her for several years. And I said, man, you've really slimmed down. I feel like how much weight have you lost? And I forget the exact number, but we're talking. I go, all right, what's your secret? And I kind of knew in the back of my mind, right? But the way she said, she goes, you know what, Doc? She goes, honestly, she goes, I just took advantage of everything that you guys have to offer. I started getting adjusted. I started exercising more because I started feeling a little bit better. I started coming to classes. I started learning about nutrition and toxins. I met with Kayla. I ran a lab. I did a protocol. I changed a thing. I followed up. I met with her again, etc., etc. And she fast forward, she's like, I'm down X number of several tens of pounds, right? She's off of medication. She's feeling, and she's in her 50s or maybe she's 60 now. And she's getting healthier, not sicker. It's possible if you'll take the action. So come to the class. The toxins, I'm going to make a couple of these things real simple, okay? Some of that stuff's on here. Ditch and switch. This is all about toxicity, right? So you've got this simple guide here. That's number one, okay? Number two, if you're a patient here and you've started care in the last few years, you've probably got these booklets. Raise your hand if you got these booklets at home. Some of you got them. Several of you didn't raise your hand, and I know you got them. Okay? So, these booklets, if you don't have them, if you're like, I know for a fact I didn't get them, go up front. We've got them. You can purchase them. Okay? They're amazing. They break it into 3 simple components. So, you've got nutrition guide. Really simple. Again, it's broken down. It's really easy. This isn't crazy. It's simple. It's easy to read. You can reference this. You can continue to dig deeper on your nutrition. I couldn't possibly stand up here and teach it all to you in one day. That's why we do a nutrition class. That's why you have resources. Take advantage of all that we have to offer. Okay? So you can pick this up if you don't have it. A lot of you should have it. Some of you guys like Tony, you've been coming so long, you've got the old books. We used to have a book that had all of this in one book, right? You can still reference that. I still have my 2012 nutrition book. Like we've updated it 8 times since then, okay? I've got it at home, all right? So you've got that, so use that. Then you've got the recipe guide. So once you get going, you understand what you should be eating, how you should be eating it. Here's how to make it. Whole bunch of recipes, smoothie recipes, dessert recipes, you name it, it's in there. So you know that you're eating. Just pick a recipe that sounds good and make it. And then you don't have to worry about what you should be eating. Does that make sense to everybody? And then toxicity and some of the other things, that's going to be covered in our mini book. There's a section in here for each of our 5 essentials to continue to educate yourself, to pinpoint toxins, to add to your nutritional knowledge a little bit, to understand the chiropractic side a little bit better, to understand the exercise side a little bit better. So taking these resources and utilizing them, this is what happens to this stuff. I know this. Thanks, Doc. Really grateful for all the things that you provide. Where'd it go? That's what happens, though. It gets shoved in a drawer. It gets stuffed in the glove box, right? I'm certain there's at least 1 or 2 of you in this room that have those at home and you didn't raise your hand. You're like, did I get that? Yes, we've been giving those out for several years now, okay? So you've got those, all right? Makes sense to everybody? Okay. We're good. Right on time. Perfect. I'm going to finish up here. And we're going to end on time.
Hey.
Careful, don't get too excited. We got like 15 minutes here. I could overdo it. Okay, so gut and brain. Brain and gut. We talked about the vagus nerve, right? The gut stimulates back to the brain through the vagus nerve. The brain has massive input into the gut via the vagus nerve as well. But in simple terms, like we've talked about, everybody here just about, there's only 1 or 2 people that have never been to one of our workshops or haven't been a patient in the office for any amount of time, okay? Brain controls everything. That still includes your gut. How does your gut heal? The brain's going to coordinate this healing process. When you put the GI repair in, it will be the brain analyzing the nutrients and putting them to work in the right places. Say that needs to go there. We need to bring this in. We need to send cells. We need to heal. We need to repair. That doesn't happen in a microcosm by itself. Okay? I always talk about this stuff in this. I use this analogy. You've got the brain, which is like the world's greatest carpenter, can build anything, could repair anything, right? And then you've got like key nutrients. The wood, the nails, the screw, the pipes, the plumbing, etc. Does that make sense? This everybody with me, okay? You need both if you're gonna build a house.
Sure, that's right.
If I dump all the supplies in a field and don't have a builder, right, I got a pile of stuff. If I've got the world's greatest carpenter and builder in a field by himself, i.e. no nutrients, he can't build anything. You have to put it together. You've got to have the master builder communicating with the rest of the body and giving it the nutrients it needs to build and repair. If there's stress on the nerve system that's going unaddressed, it's going to hinder the healing process. Things won't function properly. This is why, again, you can have one patient comes in, they start getting adjusted, they start going to the bathroom more. You have another one comes in, they start exercising, they start going to the bathroom more. You have another one that comes in, they change their diet, get on probiotics, and they start going to the bathroom more. Why? Because it takes all of it, and it might be different for you, or you, or you, or you. But if you put it all together, you'll cover your bases, and that's what real health requires. So you've got to get adjusted, you've got to do your rehab, you've got to drink the water, you've got to take your supplements, you've got to exercise, you've got to eat the right foods and cut out the junk. You can't pick and choose what you're going to do and what you're not going to do if you want the absolute best results. We understand that there may be restrictions and limitations, schedules, time, budget, etc. We get that. We'll meet you where you are so you can start taking steps, but you've got to be willing to take steps. Does that make sense to everybody? There's nothing better than this, than the story right there. There's nothing better than the other lady I was talking about. I'm looking out here at some of you. Some of you have great testimonies and stories of healing already. There's nothing better than that for us. It's like the most exciting thing when we get to hear these stories. I was telling Amanda, I was laughing. I haven't adjusted her in I don't know how long. Just schedules when she comes in, when I'm available, when I'm not here. I'm off doing other things, right? I hadn't seen her in a couple of months. And she walked in and I'm like, oh my God, look at you. Kayla's telling me you got to talk to Amanda. She's going to do a testimony on Saturday. She's great. She was filling me in on something. I was like, well, that's awesome. As soon as she came around the corner, I was like, oh my gosh, I could see it. The 35 pounds and feeling better and all the things. Like, that's the best part of my day so far. I want all of the stories. I want each and every one of you to have that. So we got to put it together, okay? Last thing I'll say about this. How does some of this work? Research shows that just sitting for 3 hours a day, raise your hand if you do that. Everybody, don't lie, okay? Sitting 3 hours a day drops your digestion by 30%. If you spend 8-9 hours at the computer, no wonder nothing's moving, right? Again, putting it all together. Why is that? It's not about movement from the exercise standpoint. That's your posture changing. Affecting your digestion. We sit here long enough, we get this posture happening instead of our spine being in good alignment, good posture, good movement, right? We know this decreases heart function, decreases lung capacity. Again, the research proves that it shuts down your digestive system. So we put it all together and we get the best results, okay? So, you guys ready?
Sure.
Ready to take some action, make some changes?
Yes.
Okay, there we go. Okay, so as I finish here, if you didn't get signed up for the Nutrition 101, make sure you do that. Let the team know. Again, even if you can't make that date, you're not sure, we'll work with you to figure out how to get you plugged in, okay? Number 2 is make sure you get your bundle if you're ready to take that next step. Figure out which one's right for you. Get started